Good morning, students. Today we'll start the study with the situation of Indian industrial sector on the eve of independence. The industrial sector faced many problems caused by British, and the problems which were caused by British can be termed as what British has done with Indian industries. It can be termed as systematic industrialization. Systematic de-industrialization. It means in a systematic way. It means reverse. Industrialization, it means the growth of industry. So systematically the growth of industries should be reversed. It should be done. It should be should go down in a systematic way. For that, what they done? They made a target to finish the Indian textile industry, Indian handicraft industry, which was having a great reputation in the world, and which is providing a lot of jobs to Indians, which is providing a lot of money to Indians. So what they done? For this they used two ways. First one was discriminatory policies. And second, bleak growth in investment opportunities. What British done? They used discriminatory policies. It means they policies which they made were favoring British. They were taking the raw material. If we talk about the raw material, what British policies were, that the raw material which is used in industries, if Indian industry want to purchase the raw material, they will have to pay heavy taxes. If the British, this is for Indian. Now if British want to purchase raw material, they will be tax free. So the British will always purchase the raw material on very cheaper prices. Now when they sell finished goods, if Indian is selling finished goods, again he has to pay heavy taxes. And if the British is selling finished goods, that is tax free or very low rate of tax. So this is how the raw material was cheaper for the British, and the finished goods, again these were cheaper in market, because they had to pay very less amount of tax, or in general no tax, where Indian they had to pay a lot of taxes. So these were the discriminatory policies. And then the second thing what they done was the bleak growth in investment opportunities. They did not provide the investment opportunities for Indian industries. Whatever the investment came there, it was in the British industries only. So this is how the industrial sector was ruined by the British, and this is why it is termed as systematic deindustrialization. They have finished the industries in India in a systematic order. Now, what were the reasons of the decay of handicrafts in India? The main reasons. First one, that what we studied today, the discriminatory policies. What British done? Tariff-free export of raw material from India, tariff-free import from British industries products in India, and if the raw material is purchased by Indian, that is on a heavy taxes. If the product is sold by Indians, that is on the heavy taxes. So this is how Indians were discriminated by British. Then disappearance of princely court. This is again a very big reason for the decays of handicraft, because the princes, the kings, they were the customers for these handicraft industries, as well as because these handicraft industries has the international reputation, they support them financially. But as princely court disappeared, there were no one to support the handicraft industry. So they faced a very bad condition. Then competition from machine made product. In Britain, they started producing by machine, and these products made by machine were cheaper than the products made by Indians with hands. So this is how many Indian craftsmen which were failed to compete with these kind of man-made machine made products, they need to shut down their enterprises. And as these enterprises shut down, the market was flooded by the machine made product, and the other industries also suffered. New patterns of demand. Now when the machine made product was started coming from Britain, and because they were very cheaper, so people started wearing these. Then they started sending the British culture and new designs which were very much accepted by a new class of citizens who were very keen to adopt the Western culture. So these type of people started wearing British cloth, and the demand of new pattern increased in the country. Introduction of railways in India. It was again in the Britain and especially in the Europe. These railways help industries to grow, but in India it had a completely opposite effect on industries. Why? Because due to these high speed railways, the low cost British product was very easy to reach to every part of India, and the market of high cost Indian products shrinked to very special category of people and to very special areas. Otherwise wherever the railways were able to go, the British product were reaching very easily. So this is how the demand for Indian goods in the market got down. What basically they done, they exploited market in two ways. First, they made India a source of raw material. What they done, they make India the source of raw material at a place from where they can get the raw materials. And secondly, they made India a destination for the demand of British products, or a dump area for British product, where they can dump all their product which were not in demand in other countries, or all the surplus product which they have, they send all these products to India. And this is how the Indian handicraft industry was eliminated from India. Now our traditional industry was eliminated, and the modern industries, the growth of modern industries was very bleak. We can say the notional, it means only which looks like a feeling. It means there were nothing special which can be seen as physical growth, that yes, a lot of industries were started, or nothing was like that. Especially in the first half of 19th century, there were nothing is being done in the field of industrial development. But after in the second half of 19th century, there were few industries that emerged in India, and about those 3 points are very important to study. That is, some industries were established by the private entrepreneurs, just like Tisco, which is founded in 1907, and so there were some sugar industries, some cement, and some paper industry as well, which was established by private entrepreneurs who worked for, who had money, and they started industries for their profit. It was not done by the British. The state participation in the process of modern industrialization was limited. It was confined to such strategic areas like railway, means of communication, which helped expansion of the Indian market for the British product. The role of government in the industrialization was very limited. They have left everything in private hands. They were only interested in developing areas like railway and means of communication. This is why, because these two areas help the expansion of Indian market for the British product. So they were interested in only these two sectors. Otherwise, they do not want to grow any kind of industry in India. Then there was no capital goods industry worth the name. Capital goods industry produces goods like machines and industrial plants, which are used for further industrialization. In India, British did not started any kind of capital goods industry. There were no capital good related industry in India, because these capital good industries are called the backbone of industries. Why? Because these industries produces machines, these industries produces plants, and these machines and these plants help in production. So till the freedom, if we want to start any kind of factory, we need to import machines from other countries. That is because the British, they did not worry about the development of industries in India. So they done nothing special in order to develop industries in India. So what we can say about the industrial system, industrial condition of India is that handicraft industry was systematically destroyed by British. The modern industry showed a bleak expansion, a very limited expansion. Only the railways and the means of communication were expanded on a large growth. Capital goods industry was almost non-existent. It means there were nothing in capital goods industry, and the Indian traditional industry, it means the handicraft industry, it was decaying, it was going down, and the modern industry remained in an infant stage. It means it was just starting. Nothing special was done in this field. So this is about the industrial sector. Now if we talk about the foreign trade was also not in a good condition, because what we do, we export the primary products and we import the finished goods. We export the raw material and we import the finished goods. So our condition in the world market was the net exporter of primary products and importer of finished goods. We provide the primary goods to every country and we are importing finished goods from all the countries. The foreign trade was a monopoly control. It was the control by the Britain. All the raw material is sent to other countries by the British, and all the finished goods which come to India was coming here by the British. So there was a control of British on Indian products. Then we have the surplus trade. Surplus trade, it means we are selling more and we are purchasing less, but only to benefit the British. Why? Because what we are exporting is the primary goods. It means the raw material. We are not selling the industrial goods. We are not selling the finished goods. We are purchasing finished goods. So though our trade surplus were there, but it was not in our benefit, because whatever the money we are earning through the sale of the raw material, we purchase more finished goods from the world and we need to spend the money, and whatever the money remains, that is taken away by the British. So if we have some trade surplus with us, how it is taken away by the British? It is taken away as administrative expenses and expenses of wars fought by British government. So what we were having, we were facing a condition where we were in trade surplus. It means we are selling more, that is the primary product, and we are purchasing less, that is the finished product. And whatever the surplus amount was there, it was taken away by British in two ways. First, as administrative expenses, and the second as expenses of wars fought by the British government. And by these two ways, they drain a lot of wealth from India. That is a main reason of the backwardness of Indian economy in the British era. So this was about the agriculture, the industrial and the foreign trade sector, the situation of all three sectors in India, what exactly we were facing during the British period, that we have studied. on what position we were there before British came to India. We studied. Now we will study some demographic profile of India during British period, and the remaining things, how this demography transited, that we will study in the next video tomorrow. Thank you.